All right. I know the last couple weeks I've said a lot of things suck. I've went through them all, but you know what doesn't suck? You, because you're watching this video. Hey, welcome back. I'm Chris Burns from Techie Gurus. So, one of the biggest questions I get asked all the time is, can I just buy a product? Can I just buy one security product that's going to solve all of my problems? I want to buy the best antivirus. I want to buy the best firewall. And the truth is, there isn't one. I've sat here for the last few weeks and I've talked about things that suck and things that we can do about it. But the reality is there is no product to solve this problem. This cybersecurity problem that we have, this IT management problem that we have. There's no one product. This is a culture. It starts at the top of every organization and it goes top to bottom. We have to have a cybersecurity culture. We have to have a culture that understands that we need to do the right thing all the time. And it's not a one-time purchase. There's multiple layers to what we have to do. There's multiple defenses we have to put in place. And there's things that we have to take care of. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. You've probably heard of CVEs. If you haven't, it's a common vulnerability exposure. And what that is for every publicly disclosed vulnerability, there's a CVE attached to it. MITRE is the authority that usually lists that. There's multiple naming authorities that can name the CVEs, but they put out a list of those. And they're all the publicly disclosed vulnerabilities for the year. If on January 1st you bought a security product, let's say in this magical world, it fixes one thing, right? It protects you against one thing. Or it says, hey, look, I protect you against everything and I don't have to be updated ever. Okay, that's cool. So January 1st you bought it, right? As of now, which today is September 14th, I'm shooting this video. There are nearly 14,000 CVEs just for 2021. So let that sink in. There's nearly 14,000 publicly disclosed vulnerabilities just for 2021. And these are the ones that are public. There's going to be vulnerabilities that aren't public yet. We're in September. So no, there's no product that fixes this. This is a culture. This is something you have to do in your business. So you can't just go out and you can't buy one thing to fix it. So let's talk about two of the ones that just came out, right? Microsoft has one. It's for MS HTML, and it's exploited in Office documents. Mostly Word, mostly RTF documents that are open to Word or WordPad. And it allows a remote, somebody basically take over your machine. They can download a payload in the background and then they can do whatever they want. And they published some mitigation techniques last week. We put those in our customers. And turns out over the weekend, vulnerability got leaked to hacking forums. The active exploit got leaked, and they figured out a way to get around the first mitigation technique. So what we did stopped one attack vector, but it didn't stop another one. And this is something that hasn't been patched by Microsoft yet. Now it's supposed to be out today, and we'll see if it comes out today. I haven't seen anything yet. And that's something that we're up against. Another one that got patched late last night that a lot of people didn't know about was an Apple vulnerability. It's called forced entry. It was used by the NSO group they're an Israeli company. They made a software package called Pegasus. Pegasus allows governments mostly, to spy on individuals. And this vulnerability is so bad that as from March of 2020 till now, they can install Pegasus spyware on any Apple device without you even clicking anything. Think about that. The user didn't have to do anything. It could be they went to a website, maybe they opened up an email that automatically downloaded an image, and they could actually run that on your device. That's what we're up against. That's why when we come into a business and we say, hey, look, to take care of IT, cybersecurity, it's going to be this, we don't sit here and just take your money and not do anything. And I think that's what some people think sometimes is like, well, I don't have a budget for that. There's no ROI on that. Okay. We can have that conversation about ROI. I'm not an accountant, so I'm not going to go into that. But like, one thing you could do is you could sell it to your customers that, hey, look, we're doing everything we can to protect you, to protect your privacy, your data. So if you're healthcare, or maybe you do taxes or accounting or whatever, maybe you do insurance, mortgages, whatever, for your customers, maybe you take credit cards. You tell them that I have to raise my prices a little bit because I want to do the right thing for you. I want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to protect the data that you're letting us have. That's how we get by. That's how we move on, move forward, because this stuff isn't free. Now, some of the things are low cost that you can do that help, but there are costs involved. And if you haven't built that into whatever you're doing as a business, that's a problem. So if you have to go raise your prices a little bit to cover this, the downside is you spend a little bit of money. First of all, you're significantly more protected against this. You have a culture now where you're training your users, making sure that they're doing the right thing. And yeah, maybe you will have an incident at some point, right? You will. But if you've done everything you can and you have the insurance to back it up, the fallout's going to be very minimal. But on the flip side, if you don't do anything and you have something like this, it could be catastrophic. So you got to think about this. It's like, do I have $100,000? Do I have $500,000? Do I have $1 million sitting around that if I do something terrible with data that leads to a breach, that leads to me getting fined, that leads to me getting sued, do I have the money sitting there? And if the answer is no, then one, you need insurance that's going to cover that, and two, you need to do everything that you have to for the insurance. And that's the world we live in today. It's not a point product time. You don't buy one product and it's done. It's not a one-time purchase. This is an ongoing, I don't want to say battle because battle is a bad word, but it's an ongoing thing that we're going to have to do for forever, right? And the companies that take it seriously, the companies that do the right thing, especially with the way that the media is, with everybody seeing all these hacking attempts, you can leverage that for your business to make your customers feel better about doing business with you, to differentiate yourself from your competitor. But it's going to take money, and it's going to take an investment on your end in both time and dollars. So we can help you with that. If that's something that you're interested in, DM us, let me know. You can give us a phone call, email. We can just have a conversation. I just ask for a conversation. I want to help. We want to help more than 1 million people. That's what we want to do. And the only way we're going to do this is helping businesses help their employees. So I'm Chris Burns from Techie Gurus. I appreciate you being here, and stay cyber safe.